Dear students, we have completed 4 units. Now we are going to start unit 5, that is network synthesis and filters. So first we will start with network synthesis. So in the network synthesis we will discuss positive real function, its definition and properties. Then we will discuss properties of LC, RC and RL driving point functions. Then we will discuss synthesis of LC, RC and RL driving point immitance functions using Foster and Cauer first and second forms. So let's start with network functions. So first let us start with network synthesis. So first let us define network synthesis. So what is network synthesis? Network synthesis deals with design and fabrication of an electrical network from given excitation and response. That means excitation and response of a network is given. That means we know the relations, that is we have given a network functions that is equal to Laplace transform of response, that is output, divided by Laplace transform of excitation, that is input. Now we have to design the electrical network from the given relation of excitation and response. In the case of network analysis, what we are doing in the case of network analysis, we have to find the current through every branch and voltage across every branch. Here in the case of network synthesis, we do not know what is the electrical network, but we know the behavior of the electrical network. That means for the given excitation, what will be the response of network. So we have to design the electrical network from the concept of network synthesis. So let's start. We have the elements of realization theory. So what is the meaning of elements of realization theory? Suppose a network function is given to us and we have to design the electrical network. Designing the electrical network means we have to construct the networks. It means the networks will be containing the values of resistances, inductances and capacitance. So we have to find the resistors, inductors and capacitors connected in the network. So for this we must have the realization of network functions. That means whether the network function is valid or not. So for we have the first the elements of realization theory. We have the first part, that is causality and stability. So let us see what is causality and stability. We see that causality means what? Causality means we know from the concept we know that a current cannot appear in any branch unless voltage is applied. That means whenever we apply a voltage, then a current is flowing in the branch, or if there is any current flowing in the branch, then only there will be the voltage drop. It means we can say that response of the network must be 0 for time t less than 0. That means unless we switch on the supply, the response should be 0, the output should be 0. So this is the concept of causality. Next is the important concept, that is concept of stability. So what is the concept of stability? So for the concept of stability, the network function must satisfy 3 conditions. First is no poles on RHS of S plane. That means there should not be any poles on the right hand side of S plane. That means the poles are basically the denominator parts. That means when we are making denominator of a function equal to 0, so the solution, the roots of denominator gives the values of poles. So there should not be any poles on the right hand side of S plane. Second thing is cannot have multiple poles on j omega axis, that is imaginary axis. That means we cannot have multiple poles. Suppose we have the pole at j equal to 1 and j equal to minus 1. Now if we have 2 poles at j equal to 1 and j equal to minus 1, that means in the denominator we have the term like s square plus 1 the whole square. It means we'll have total 4 poles. 2 poles will be at j1 and 2 poles will be at minus j1. Or we cannot have the term like 1 by s square. If there is term like 1 by s square, it means it has 2 roots, s equal to 0 and s equal to 0. That means we have multiple poles on origin. So system should not have multiple poles on j omega axis. Next, degree of ns cannot exceed the degree of denominator ds by more than 1. That means the highest degree of numerator, suppose the highest degree of numerator is s to the power 5. So highest degree of denominator should be s to the power 4. That means the degree should not exceed by more than 1. So here are the examples. We see the first one is, we have shown two poles are there on the left hand side of the S plane. So this is the satisfactory condition. Second thing is, we have three poles. One pole is on origin, that means on j omega axis, and two poles are on negative real axis. Again, this is stable. In the third case, we see that we have one pole on negative real axis and we have multiple poles, that means two poles on j omega axis, that is origin. So this is not the stable condition. Next, we have Hurwitz polynomial. So this is a very important concept. We are going to study Hurwitz polynomial. So what is Hurwitz polynomial? Hurwitz polynomial means, Hurwitz polynomial tells basically we have a network function has numerator and denominator. So we are going to deal with denominator polynomial only in the case of Hurwitz polynomial. That means denominator polynomial should satisfy some conditions, then only this will be called Hurwitz polynomial. So first condition is, suppose denominator polynomial is represented by PS. So PS is real when S is real. That means if we put S is a real term, that means if S is equal to sigma plus j omega, and if omega is equal to 0, that means we have simply S equal to sigma, then in that case the value of PS, that means the polynomial should be real. Second is, the real parts of roots of polynomial PS should be either 0 or negative. That means when we find the solution of the polynomial PS, that means when we make PS equal to 0, so the roots may have the complex part. If the root has complex numbers, then the real parts of the roots must be either 0 or negative. That means we can have the root like minus 2 plus 3j, we can have the root like minus 1 plus 3j, we can have the root like 0 plus 3j, but we cannot have the root like 1 plus 3j, because if we have the root 1 plus 3j, it means 1 is positive. So real part of the root should be either 0 or negative. Next, let us see the properties of Hurwitz polynomial. So what are the properties? So first, we write the Hurwitz polynomial in the term, the Hurwitz polynomial, suppose we have the degree of Hurwitz polynomial is n. So we'll have the Hurwitz polynomial like an into s to the power n plus an minus 1 into s to the power n minus 1 up to a1s plus a0. Then here it is necessary that all the coefficients, that means starting from a1 to an, all the coefficients must be positive. Second thing is, there should not be any missing terms between highest and lowest degree unless all the terms are even or odd. It means what? Suppose our term is starting with s to the power 5 and it is ending to s square. So there should not be any missing term between s to the power 5 to s square. That means the coefficients for s to the power 4, s to the power 3, we should have the coefficients some real and positive coefficients of all the terms. Second thing is, line is saying that unless all the terms are even or odd. So unless all the terms are even or odd means what? If all the terms are even, suppose s to the power 6 plus s to the power 4 plus 3s square plus s to the power 0. So here we see that all the terms are even. So if all the terms are even, then it is okay. Then it is not necessary that it should have odd terms. Or even if all the terms are odd, then still it is okay. But in the case odd and even terms both are present, then there should not be any missing term between highest and lowest degree. Next, second property is, we are writing PS is equal to ms plus ns. So what is ms and ns? So basically the polynomial PS consists of even parts and odd parts. So we are making all the terms, all the even terms together, that is even part, and it is represented by ms, and we are making all the odd terms together and odd parts are represented by ns. So both ms and ns should have roots on j omega axis only. That means when we find the root of simply ms terms, that is even terms, suppose even terms are s to the power 4 plus s square. So s to the power 4 plus s square, when we make it equal to 0, so all the roots should be on j omega axis only. That means if the roots are either on negative real axis or either on positive real axis, then it is not possible that this polynomial is Hurwitz polynomial. So if it is Hurwitz polynomial, then the roots will be on j omega axis only. That means the solution of even part or solution of odd parts will be imaginary values. So as a result, if polynomial PS is either even or odd, all the roots will lie on the j omega axis. That means if in a polynomial having only even terms are there or odd terms are there, then all the roots should lie on the j omega axis only. Next, what we are doing, we are writing a function psi s, and psi s is equal to ns by ms or ms by ns. What is ms and ns? ms is even part and ns is odd parts. So here we are dividing even part by odd part or odd part by even part. And then what we are doing, basically we are doing this for continued fraction. So for continued fraction, we'll have to look, we may have, it may be possible that even term is starting with s to the power 4 and s odd term is starting with s to the power 5. That means if the highest degree of even term is greater than highest degree of odd term, then we'll divide the even term by odd term. If highest degree of odd term is greater than the highest degree of even term, then we'll divide odd term by even term. So now by continued fraction, we look at the quotient terms. So what is the property of Hurwitz polynomial? If the polynomial is Hurwitz, then all the quotient terms must be non-zero. That means all the quotient terms must be positive here. So here we see that psi s can be written as q1s plus 1 by q2s plus 1 by q3s up to so on. That means here all the terms, that is q1, q2 up to qn, must be positive. So here we will discuss in the numerical questions. Next, fifth property, if ps is a Hurwitz polynomial and ws is a multiplicative factor, then we can write ps into ws. That means a Hurwitz polynomial, and when it is multiplied with a ws, that is multiplicative factor, then the new polynomial, that is p1s, it will also be a Hurwitz polynomial. Next, property number 6, if ps is either even or odd, then psi s is not possible. That means if only even terms are there in polynomial ps, then it is not possible to write to know psi s equal to ns by ms, because we have only either even part or odd part. So in this case, how will you check? So in this case, we'll find the derivative of ps. That means we'll differentiate ps with respect to s. So we'll find p dash s. Next, what will you do? We'll write psi s equal to ps divided by p dash s. Then we'll do the partial continued fraction. So now let us come to numerical problems. The first numerical problem is given that ps equal to s to the power 4 plus s cube plus 5s square plus 3s plus 4. We have to check whether the polynomial is Hurwitz or not. So first we'll check some basic conditions. That means all the terms must be positive and real, and second thing is that there is no any missing terms between highest and lowest degree. So here it is satisfying these two conditions. Next, what we'll have to do, we'll have to go for the method of continued fraction. So for continued fraction, we are making all the even terms together. So even terms are s to the power 4 plus 5s square plus 4. So it is equal to ms, and odd terms are equal to ns, and it is equal to s cube plus 3s. So here we see that highest degree of ms is greater than that of ns. So here ms will be dividend and ns will be divisor. So here we are dividing s square s to the power 4 plus 5s square plus 4 by s cube plus 3s. So we see that first quotient will be s. So here we have the terms s to the power 4 plus 3s square. So when it is being subtracted in s to the power 4 plus 5s square plus 4, we get 2s square plus 4. Now what will happen? This 2s square 4 plus 4, this is the remainder. Now this remainder will become divisor and s cube plus 3s will become dividend. So now when we are dividing s cube plus 3s by 2s square plus 4, so here we see the quotient, next quotient will be 1 by 2s. So when it is 1 by 2s, then we see the remainder is s. Now s will be divisor and 2s square plus 4 will be dividend. So here the next quotient is 2s. So here we get the remainder equal to 4. Now this 4 is divisor and s is dividend. So here we see that last quotient is 1 by 4s. Now the remainder is 0. So we basically we are getting 4 quotient terms, that is s by 2, 2s and s by 4. So we can write psi s equal to ms by ns, and it will be written as s plus 1 by s by 2 plus 1 by 2s plus 1 by s by 4. So here we see that all the 4 quotients are positive. It means this polynomial ps is Hurwitz polynomial. Next we will do another problem. The given polynomial is s to the power 4 plus s cube plus 2s square plus 4s plus 1. We have to check whether ps is Hurwitz or not. So to check this one, again we see that all the coefficients are positive and there is no any missing term between highest and lowest degree. Now we have to separate the even parts and odd parts. So ms is equal to s to the power 4 plus 2s square plus 1. ns is equal to s cube plus 4s. So now we see that the highest degree of even part is greater than that of odd part. So s to the power 4 plus 2s plus 1, 2s square plus 1 is dividend and s cube plus 4s is divisor. So first quotient will be s and the remainder will be minus 2s square plus 1. Now minus 2s square plus 1 will be divisor and s cube plus 4s will be dividend. So here we see that next quotient will be minus 1 by 2s. So the if the quotient is coming minus 1 by 2s, it means the quotient is negative, and if even one of the quotient is negative, it means this polynomial is not Hurwitz polynomial. Although here I have made the calculation up to last, but we have no need to go to last calculations. If it is coming negative, one of the quotient is coming negative, it means our polynomial is not Hurwitz polynomial. Next question, ps is given as s cube plus 2s square plus 3s plus 6. We have to check this is Hurwitz or not. So again we see that all the coefficients are positive and real and there is no any missing term between highest and lowest order. So again we will write ms equal to 2s square plus 6, that is even part, and ns equal to s cube plus 3s, that is odd parts. So here we see that the highest degree of odd parts is greater than that of even parts. So here we will write psi s equal to ns divided by ms. So here s cube plus 3s will be dividend and 2s square plus 6 is divisor. So here the quotient is coming 1 by 2s and the remainder is coming 0. Remainder is coming 0 means what? The term has been terminated abruptly. It means what? It means we can see that 2s square plus 6 is one factor of ps and another factor is 1 plus 1 by 2s. So we can write ps equal to s cube plus 3s into 1 plus s by 2. So here we can see that 1 plus s by 2. 1 plus s by 2, here we see that we can find the solution of 1 plus s by 2, and here we see that both the coefficients are positive. It means 1 plus s by 2 is a Hurwitz polynomial. Next we have to check for SQ plus 3s. So how can we check for SQ plus 3s? So we see that the SQ plus 3s, Ws equal to SQ plus 3s, we can write S into S square plus 3. So here we see that S into S plus j root 3 into S minus j root 3. That means here if you find the roots, so we'll get 3 roots, S equal to 0, S equal to j root 3, S equal to minus j root 3. That means here we see that all the 3 roots are lying on j omega axis. If it has only odd terms and all the roots are lying on j omega axis, that means it is Hurwitz polynomial. Although we'll check through the method of continued fraction. So how will you write the continued fraction here? So here Ws has odd terms only, so we'll differentiate Ws with respect to S. So we'll write W dash S is equal to dWs divided by ds. So here it is equal to 3s square plus 3. So now we'll write psi s is equal to Ws divided by W dash S. So it will be equal to SQ plus 3s divided by 3s square plus 3. So here we see that SQ plus 3s is dividend and 3s square plus 3 is divisor. So now we get first quotient is 1 by 3s and remainder is 2s. Now 2s will be divisor and 3s square plus 3 is dividend. So second quotient is 3 by 2 into s. Now the remainder is 3 and now we'll make 3 as divisor and 2s will be dividend. So next quotient coming is 2 by 3 into s. So here we see that the 3 quotients, that is 1 by 3s, 3 by 2s and 2 by 3s. So here we see that all the quotients are positive. It means Ws is Hurwitz and P1s is already Hurwitz. So Ps polynomial, that is equal to Ws into P1s, will be Hurwitz polynomial. Next, go to next question, that is Ps is equal to s to the power 7 plus 2s to the power 6 plus 2s to the power 5 plus s4 plus 4s cube plus 8s square plus 8s plus 4. So we have to check whether this is Hurwitz polynomial or not. So to check whether it is Hurwitz polynomial or not, we see first we see the conditions, some basic conditions we have to check. That means all the terms are real and positive and there is no any missing term between highest and lowest degree. So next we have to go for continued fraction. That means we'll separate the even terms and odd terms. So ms is equal to 2s to the power 6 plus s to the power 4 plus 8s square plus 4 and ns equal to s to the power 6 plus 2s to the power 5 plus 4s cube plus 8s. Now we'll write psi s equal to ns by ms because ns has highest degree 7 and ms has highest degree 6. So here ns will be dividend and ms will be divisor. So first quotient is coming s by 2 and remainder coming is 3 by 2 into s to the power 5 plus 6s. Now this remainder will become divisor and 2s to the power 6 plus s to the power 4 plus 8s square plus 4 will be dividend. So next quotient coming is 4 by 3 into s. So here we are getting the remainder s to the power 4 plus 4 and next this remainder will become divisor and 3 by 2 into s to the power 5 plus 6s will become dividend. So next quotient is 3 by 2s. So now we see that remainder is coming 0. That means again the terms this division has been stopped. So here what will you do? Now it means that s to the power 4 plus 4 is the factor of one factor of the polynomial ps. So we can write ps is equal to s to the power 4 plus 4 plus 1 plus s plus 2 plus 4 by 3 into s plus 3 by 2 into s. So we see that 1 plus s by 2 plus 4 by 3 into s plus 3 by 2 into s is Hurwitz polynomial. So next we have to look for s to the power 4 plus 4. So how will you check for s to the power 4 plus 4? So basically we see that s to the power 4, that means even part, 4 that is s to the power 0 again even part. So we see that one more even part is missing, that is s square term is missing here. If s square term is missing, it means P1s cannot be a Hurwitz polynomial. That means here the whole PS is not Hurwitz polynomial. Next we'll discuss one more question. It is given that PS equal to s to the power 4 plus s cube plus alpha s square plus 2s plus 3, and it is given that PS is a Hurwitz polynomial. Find the range of alpha. So this given polynomial is Hurwitz, we have to find the range of alpha. So what will you do? Again we'll separate the even parts and odd parts. So we write ms will be equal to s to the power 4 plus alpha s square plus 3, and ns will be equal to s cube plus 2s. So we'll write psi s equal to ms divided by ns. So ms is dividend, that is s to the power 4 plus alpha s square plus 3, and s cube plus 2s is divisor. So first quotient coming is s and remainder coming is alpha minus 2 into s square plus 3. Now this remainder will become divisor and s cube plus 2s will become dividend. So second quotient that is coming is s by alpha minus 2, and remainder coming is 2 minus 3 by alpha minus 2 into s, and now the dividend will become alpha minus 2 into s square plus 3. So when we are doing, the terms will be continued. So we look at the quotients. The second quotient is s divided by alpha minus 2. So if the PS is Hurwitz polynomial, so this quotient should be positive. That means 1 by alpha minus 2 should be positive. It means alpha minus 2 should be greater than 0. From here we get the first equation, that is alpha is greater than 2. Next we'll have to check for second case, that is 2 minus 3 divided by alpha minus 2 should be greater than 0. That means 2 alpha minus 7 should be greater than 0. From here we get alpha greater than 3.5. So we have two equations, one is alpha is equal greater than 2, another one is alpha greater than 3.5. So when we find the common solution, so common solution is alpha should be greater than 3.5. So this is the answer.